Appalachian newspapers. We hope to bring you more of these in the future and bring you as much information as we can about the outdoors of all kinds. And so we definitely want to hear your guys' ideas. We want to hear what you've got to say. We want to, get an idea of what the outdoors means to you and what we need to cover and what we can look into. But this week, talking turkey. It's the season opens the weekend of the 12th.
Yep.
So, and Devin, I'm not a hunter. I'm a fisherman, a hiker, those things. Not because I'm opposed to hunting. I just haven't done it. But Devin,
Try to change it.
try to change that. Devin is a hunter. And so tell me a little bit about what you're anticipating this year with turkey season. I understand the numbers are looking good.
There was a worry. I mean, but now if you compare to like the year 2000, 2001, 2002, they was down there. Once we got to about 2010, it's when that was the one that peak. In between 2000 2010, they're not where they was there at that point. But yeah, there's plenty of turkeys. I mean, already I've heard just slamming car doors at the house. When they want to gobble, they will answer anything. I've heard them already answer a train going by. I've heard them answer car doors, 3 or 4 on the same ridge, just hammering to any loud noise. I mean, I'm not saying you can't pack a car with you though.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
that's where you need to cough.
So yeah, it is an interesting kind of hunting. We've talked a little bit about this before, but what makes turkey hunting so desirable, so fun, just so different than the other types of hunting?
It gives you the ability to. Most people call it run and gun hunting. So I mean, if they are gobbling. If they're not gobbling, you're sitting down, you're deer hunting, and you can deer hunt turkeys. You can call them in, they not make a peep, and you get one. I've done that. But when they're gobbling, there is not an adrenaline rush on this earth that I have felt when there's a gobbler just over a point, say 40 yards, and you're trying to get in up on your level, and I mean, it feels like the ground shaking underneath you.
Has there been one when you called it in that came after you?
Well, no, I've not seen one that
brave,
that desperate, but I have had quite a few hang up just over, say, a rise or just on the other side of the point, and people that hunts them regularly know what I'm talking about. They are so unpredictable.
Yeah,
they have there are turkeys that you can call. Prime example, real quick. Me and my uncle one time was turkey hunting, and we had slate calls, box calls. We'd tried different calls all morning. And growing up, me and my dad would always stand on the front porch and see if we could get turkeys to gobble, and we would just go just with our mouth. And that day, they would not answer anything. And I just said, what do I got to lose? And I went,
yeah.
And I called a group of 8 turkeys to my uncle's gun barrel, and he shot one had 8-inch beard on it.
Wow.
And they would not answer slate, box call. Just certain things make them tick.
Right.
They got their own personality.
So you got some calls with you there. Talk to me a little bit about some of these and what what's the difference and what kind of situation would you use this guy in?
Well, this is a box call. It's the most probably this and a slate call are the most forgiving.
Yeah.
For people like myself or especially beginners. This is, I would argue, you could probably get louder with this one. That's just a yelp, a hen yelp.
Yeah.
So you've got your I like to purr leading into my yelps. So then a lot of times I'll do that, and then just. Now these, like I said, those and a slate call, which is right here, they're the most forgiving. And I prefer, if I could just take one call with me in the hills, I would take a slate call. Now, people that's good with a mouth call would take a mouth call.
Right.
But you can do a lot of different things with a mouth call. And you can get loud, you can get low, which you can with these too. Like this call, just this simple call right here. yelp has killed more turkeys than anything. I mean, now you've got the guys that do the calling competitions that get into all, there's Kiki runs, there's all kinds of different things, but just a simple
It's effective.
hen yelp. And a lot of times, people do some cutting leading into it. But that's killed more turkeys than any call.
Wow.
And so and it works. I mean, if it works, don't try to fix what isn't broke and what isn't broken. And I mean, that's mostly that's my go-to is just hen yelps.
So if you go out there without calls, how much does that reduce your chances of seeing one of these guys?
Well, I mean, like I said, I have, I mean, now that was a one-time event, I have caught them up just going,
yeah,
but I mean, as far as, I mean, to me, if you're not going to take the calls, you're not turkey hunting. You're deer hunting turkeys.
Yeah,
is what you're doing. And I actually, if you don't take calls, you're liable to still hear them gobble.
Yeah.
Because I mean, just like I said, I've heard them gobble from everything to car doors slamming. It just certain things make them tick. And then, last year, me and my brother-in-law. Now, early morning is the best time to get on them coming off the roost, because you can locate them by doing a hoot owl call. And I'll be honest with you, I don't use a lot of hoot owl calls because I have the other evening, right at the edge of dark, I just kind of gave it a, and then they were like 4 just hammered at it.
Wow.
So I'm liking what I'm hearing if I had permission to hunt that property, but I don't.
Right. Well, that's one of the most important things right now, right? I mean, if you're getting ready to go turkey hunting, it's figuring out the wheres and getting the permissions and all that. What are the kind of preparations going on right now?
I would definitely get out, because and most time you can just about look and tell they scratch. Whereas a deer will, kind of gnaw at the ground, and then once you got the leaves back so far, you'll see deer prints. So a lot of times you'll see hoof prints in there. But with a turkey, you can just see like the leaves are just like they scratch. And then, a lot of times you'll see like a turkey print down in there, but you can just tell the scratching is a lot different than digging. And that's what turkeys do.
Now, as far as public lands go, are there a lot of public lands available for turkey hunting?
Oh, absolutely. As far as around this area, there is a few that, because of elk, that are few public lands that they set aside for elk draws, things of that nature. But for the most part, now once you get into like state parks, those are usually like Jenny Wiley, that's a draw hunt. But I mean, there's honestly, I don't want it to sound cliche, but there are turkeys everywhere and there's deer everywhere. Now, at one time, I talked to what I would call one of the old timers last week for the outdoor call.
Yeah.
And he said at one time, if you win a season, and if you heard a bird a day, you was doing good. Now, I mean, I've heard as many as 7, 8 different birds in a day.
Wow.
That don't always mean they'll commit, but
so I guess all in all, you're anticipating a pretty good season.
Oh yeah, I mean, and like I said, last year there was a lot of talk around the numbers, and a lot of people not hearing as many gobble. I would argue, and most people will, that turkey hunts regularly, that they've just been overcalled, and I think that's the biggest mistake people make is that's never turkey hunted. You hear that, well, that sounds like fun, and then they just go out and just for a whole morning,
and they get used to it.
And not that it don't sound realistic, but you do that, turkey comes in, you miss a turkey, before long,
he's Lord bless.
Yeah, and honestly, I would argue that this call right here, now, early in the morning, your hoot owl calls, you're getting loud to locate, that's important. But I would argue that this has killed more turkeys, because once you get them within that 40, 50-yard range, I mean, that's what's going to bring them in.
Sounds like it just kind of piques their curiosity enough to get them moving in.
By nature, the hen goes to the gobbler. The gobbler don't come to the hen.
Oh, wow.
So you've got to do everything. You got to manipulate anything in your favor, and that's those soft, subtle clucks and yelps. Once they close that distance, that's what's going to bring them in.
Yeah. Well, this week we're not going to talk too much about fishing because as we're recording this, it is absolutely pouring the rain in most of our counties, and the possibility of flooding is very real in many of them. I did get out finally this year, bought my license, got out to do some fishing, and one thing I've kind of been talking to people about is about the changes that the February flooding will bring to your fishing holes. And be honest with you, it completely wrecked one of my fishing holes that my son and I have been hitting for about 5 years. We tried to get out there, or I tried to get out there, and there was a low water bridge that completely washed out, completely gone, and it kind of made it, if not impossible, difficult, at least in my advanced stage, to get to where I wanted to get to. So I'm definitely telling y'all, once this water goes down, be sure you're scouting because you could end up going out to your spot and finding out it's just not going to happen today. There's some places that are untouched. I did go to Fish Pond down in Letcher County. Fish Pond looks like Fish Pond. It always looks. Beautiful, crystal clear. You can see the bass, and they just look at you and laugh as they refuse to bite. You have to work extra hard out there, but man, I'm telling you, you get them. They're awesome. Didn't catch any, but I did have a few follows on the fly. Did have a good experience. It's always good to get out.
Absolutely.
Regardless. And I do want to say also to go back to the turkey hunting, but also to talk about fishing. I encourage everyone to visit the Kentucky Fish and Wildlife website at fw.ky.gov. They have an entire section, for example, in spring turkey season, where they have tips, tricks, links to the public lands, and also, perhaps most importantly, links to where you can go buy your license.
Season dates. I mean,
licensure is very important. We've talked to fish and wildlife people in the past, you and I have, about how important it is to habitat maintenance, to maintaining the different numbers of different animals. So don't be shy about buying that license. Don't be one of these people that I have to put in the blotter for getting charged with hunting or fishing without a license. So, it can happen, but listen, just buy it. It really does make a difference.
It's those practices that got it from like the guy told years ago to what it is now. I mean, we can hear 7 or 8 different birds a day. I mean,
yeah, it's those fish and wildlife biologists that are watching the numbers of fish and going out and shocking the waters, and also counting turkey and taking track. I do understand there's banded turkeys that people have to be on the watch for to be able to report to help. All that information's on the website, but help the fish and wildlife people, biologists, to track the numbers. They actually have got bands on them. If you report it in, they can know, hey, we saw this one in this county. It was killed in this county, so they're moving this way. Or, there's a bunch of different data they can collect from that. So if you do catch one or kill one with a band on it, go to that website. They'll tell you who to contact and go there. But, visit Fish and Wildlife website often. It's always a good resource. And then if you have questions that we can maybe answer, ask in the comments, and we'll try to answer them maybe in a future episode. So we do appreciate y'all hanging with us on this journey, and we're going to get better at it as time goes along. And we're just really going to try to bring the outdoors of this region home to you. And anything you're interested in, definitely let us know. I'm Russ Cassady, regional editor of Appalachian Newspapers.
Devin Kidd, outdoor columnist, staff writer for Florida Chronicle.
Notice he puts that outdoor columnist first. That's he writes every day for the paper, and he doesn't call them every 2 weeks. But no, that's where his heart is. So that's totally awesome. So,
and we need to add good luck to all the youth hunters.
Yeah, absolutely.
And be careful, given everything,
At the time we're recording this, it is getting ready to be the youth season. And then definitely, if you do see a youth weekend or, free fishing weekend or whatever, take advantage of those and let those kids, let them have that experience.
And add to it, take one.
Yeah,
take it.
There you go.
Somebody took you, so I mean, that's...
Yeah. Well, again, we're Appalachian Outdoors, and we look forward to hearing from you and reporting to you in the future.